One of the great lies of life is follow your passions. Everybody tells you, follow your passion, follow your passion. I used to be passionate to be a baseball player. Then I realized I had a 70-mile-per-hour fastball. I used to be passionate about being a professional basketball player. Then I realized I had a 7-inch vertical. A lot of things I'm passionate about, a lot. But you know what? The things I ended up being really good at were the things I found myself putting effort into. A lot of people talk about passion, but that's really not what you need to focus on. You really need to evaluate and say, okay, where am I putting in my time? Because when you look at where you put in your time, when you put in your effort, that tends to be the things that you're good at. He quits anything they're good at because it's fun to be good. It's fun to be one of the best. But in order to be one of the best, you have to put in effort. So don't follow your passions, follow your effort. I'm gonna give you one other secret. The one thing in life that you can control is your efforts.
Sales cures all. There's never been a business that succeeded without sales. The second thing is don't ask for help. I think one of the things that is challenging the companies right now is they want a mentor. They want a tutor, right? Get out there, ready, fire, aim, go. When I go to talk in colleges in particular, it's like, will you help me? Will you help me? Will you help me? Help yourself, right? And I think that's where we get caught up. So just do it. And then third is be prepared. People are like, oh, you're such a risk taker. I don't take risks, right? When you walk into the room, if you don't know more about your business, your industry, your company, your customer than everybody else in the world, you're lying to yourself that you don't know shit then, right? Because someone like me is going to just kick your ass. Seriously, right? If you walk in and there's somebody else who knows your business and your industry better than you, why would they buy from you? The one thing in business that you can control, your effort, period, end of story.
I'm going to give you some quick and dirty rules that every entrepreneur needs to be aware of. Number one, sales cures all. There's never been a company in the history of companies that's ever succeeded without sales. Anybody who's ever told you, don't worry about sales, you can grow it and then worry about sales later, they're lying to you. They will fail, you will fail. You have to be able to sell. And do you know who the biggest salesperson in your company has to be? You. And number two, selling is not convincing. Selling is helping. A lot of people, particularly if you don't have a sales background or this is your first time into sales, think it's like, oh, I'm selling ice to Eskimos, right? I'm doing something where I have to convince somebody to buy something they otherwise wouldn't buy. Wrong. That has nothing to do with anything. When you're selling, you're helping. The whole concept of being a great salesperson is not about who can talk the fastest, even though I am talking kind of fast. It's not about who can talk the most nonsense. It's about taking the time to understand the needs of the person you're selling to. Because if you can't create a benefit for them, if you can't show them why your product is going to be better for them and their life than the other options out there or what they were doing before, you are not going to have a company. The third message is all entrepreneurs lie to themselves. We all go through the same process. We tell ourselves, this is the best. Everybody loves us. Everybody, no one's going to not like my product. Of course, that's not true. What I like to tell people is when you have a company, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to figure out how to kick your own ass before someone else does it for you. You have to look at your own company and be brutally honest with yourself and say, what do we do well? That's great. But also be honest and say, what do we not do well? Where are our challenges? And then how can we improve them?
21, 22, 23 years old, right? You don't have to figure it out right now. Don't try, right? You can get a job that doesn't have to be perfect. You can learn at that job and try the next job. Don't look for the perfect answer. Just look to get the experience, look to learn, because all these different exposures, all the different things you learn, learning how to learn, that's what's going to get you excited and juicy for something that you love. Because once you find something you love to do, that's when the magic happens. Because when you're able to find something you love to do, then you can start focusing on how can I be great at this? Then you can try to be great at it. And it's rare when people quit things they're great at. Everybody's got ideas, but you've got to take that step. Like you've thought about this show for a long time, but it's hard to take that step. In my case, I had to get fired in order to force myself to get there. Second, sales cures all. Right. There's never been a company to exist that didn't have revenue. And so when you're getting started, the first thing to focus on is not raising money. That's the biggest mistake people make. 99.99% of businesses don't have to raise money, but you have to have customers. And so what I always suggest is whatever your service is, if you're mowing yards, if you're building widgets, whatever it is, go find customers. Because if you can find somebody who really likes what you're doing, they're going to want the product, they'll support you.
The third thing is you got to realize that whatever you're doing, you're competing with somebody. What is it that gives you an advantage over your competition?